A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sohan.
And this is 𝐼𝐴, and we welcome you to the Smart Power Talks 2020, hosted by the Smart Society USA. Brought to you by IEM, UEM, International Innovale Club of IEM Kolkata, Rotary International Club of Silicon Valley, IEM Toastmaster, and Business Upside.
These power talks are for the youth to gather knowledge and getting inspired from the power talkers that we have today. Our speakers, our honorable speakers of today, will be delivering amazing speeches on the life and the stories of their successes. I hope that all our audiences will enjoy these power talks and gather some inspiration and knowledge from these.
With the 20 years of experience in building and launching food businesses, she has proved that women have the potential to build businesses successfully and thriving. She is the CEO of Atera Foods and the founder for 𝐼𝐴. She is none other than Ebere Akadiri. Let's welcome her.
My name is Ebere Akadiri, and I am the founder of Rise and Lead Women. Today, I would like to share with you the story of how I got to where I am today. I grew up in Nigeria. My name is Ebere Akadiri, and I'm the founder of Rise and Lead Women in the Netherlands. Today, I'd like to share with you the story of how I got to where I am today. I grew up in Nigeria from a tribe called the Igbo tribe. As a child, I experienced the power of community, and this has become a driving force in everything I do today. My mom passed when I was 8 years old. Being the youngest child among 7 kids, I received a lot of attention from my older siblings, family, friends, and well-wishers. I experienced so much care and support from my mom's friends and from women in the community. This kind of support helped me to develop through life as a happy child, despite the fact that I lost my mom. This support also helped me to believe in the power of community. And this is the bedrock of my business model. Speaking about business, I started my first business out of necessity. I lost my corporate job when I was 7 months pregnant. I was afraid of staying idle, and I knew that nobody was going to employ me in that state. At least that was how I felt. So I turned to start my own business. However, I lacked the necessary skills to start and build a business. So I gave up on my first business idea because I had no passion for it. Instead, I launched a clothing boutique for women, which failed after 6 months. I lost all my investment, and I was on the verge of giving up on business. One day, my sister convinced me to move to a new location. But before I decided to restart that business, I came across an entrepreneurship bootcamp, which was hosted by a local bank. I signed up and attended a 3-day business intensive program. At that program, I quickly began to realize why my business failed. Determined to succeed, I implemented everything I learned from that program. And then my company flourished. 8 years later, I remembered my childhood dream of owning a restaurant business. I went into the restaurant business, and within 3 years, I had built 2 branches and 7 sales locations. Then I had a vision to expand to 10 branches within 5 years. But that vision was cut short when my husband's company transferred him to the Netherlands. At the time, I considered it a significant setback in my career. First, I was angry that I was forced to let go of my achievements and hard work because I'm a woman who had to join her husband. On arriving in the Netherlands, which was a new country, a different language and culture, I became depressed after a few months. I was angry that I had to leave my community, my network, my employees, and my independence. But one day I decided I needed to reinvent myself. I went into a spiritual journey of discovery. I wanted to learn more about who I am, my purpose, and my core values. During that period, I heard an inner voice asking me to teach what I know. With the help of my husband, I started a new business, teaching and facilitating West African cooking workshops. Through those classes, I built a new community, a new network, and I started packaging spice blends and opened up a kitchen in the center of The Hague. Again, my husband was transferred out of the country, but this time it was impossible to go with him because the children were in critical years in their school education. So I had to go back to school to obtain a master's degree in management and leadership while spending more time with my children. It was during my studies that I became interested in the topic of women leadership. I wanted to know why there were very few women in leadership. Very few women in leadership positions, both in workplaces and in the marketplace. My findings led me to launch Rise and Lead Women, initially as a women empowerment platform. We later expanded as a platform for community support, for community to support organizations to drive gender diversity and inclusion, and to increase the representation of women in top leadership positions. I'm sure you may have heard or read and know that women bring creative ideas and add value to any role they occupy. Studies have shown that diverse teams perform better and produce better results. Yet, women are underrepresented in every sector of the economy. Several research insights suggest that gender leadership gap is caused by a lot of factors, including stereotypes, culture of masculinity, confidence gap, lack of visible role models, lack of management skills, unequal access to mentorship and sponsorship, and lack of network. Also, the World Economic Forum predicts that at the current state of progress, at the current rate of progress, it will take 99 years to close the gender gap. At Rise and Lead Women, we would like to see it close sooner rather than later. So Rise and Lead Women's mission is to increase the representation of women at the top leadership positions in workplaces and the marketplace. We achieve this through our programs, which are based on 3 pillars. The first pillar is connection. The second one is community. And the third pillar is education, which is content. So what we do is that we create connections through our several events that we hold every year, and also through our summits and roundtables. We created 2 communities. So for the first community is our Rise and Lead Summit membership, which helps women expand their capacity to lead and get visible, get exposure to role models and influential leaders who can help them get a seat at the table. Our second community is called Inclusive Leaders Roundtable, which brings together corporate leaders from medium-sized and large-sized organizations. They come together to learn, to network, and share experiences, ideas, and best practices on building inclusive cultures that attract, retain, and advance women to top leadership. We also partner with some of these organizations to co-create events and programs that advance women as leaders and as entrepreneurs. Finally, our education pillar is our Rise and Lead Institute, and also through our media channels. Our Rise and Lead Institute is set up to support women professionals in discovering their leadership identity and leadership voice, and also to grow their leadership brand and get ready to rise and lead in any industry where they belong. In conclusion, my experience with community support has shown me that we all need to build a support system to help us achieve our personal, professional, organizational, or change-making goals. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot for sharing your story with us. I hope each one of us is touched by your story. Thanks a lot.
So finally, we are at the end of our session. Our speakers delivered amazing power talks and shared their life stories and their experiences and their success stories. I hope the audience and the entire youth who ever watched us today gathered some inspiration and knowledge from these power talks.
We would like to thank our amazing set of speakers. Their journeys, their stories have inspired each one of us. I would also like to thank our amazing set of audiences. Without them, this event won't be possible. Thanks a lot, each one of you. Goodbye and good night.